Tonight on News 5 Live, the Belize Tourism Board responds after COVID-19 cases detected on today's cruise ship. The Prime Minister tests negative but isolates following contact with positive case. Unvaccinated police officers get warning letters. And the September celebrations now include a new small grants program for artists. These details of these stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime, while with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
I feel honored. Truthfully, like I said, as a teacher, I feel that this is my highlight for the month, I guess. A beautiful way to start the month. To be among students who are aspiring to be someone. Today, we trust in you. We believe in you, because to have been chosen out of the 350 students, there is a spark in you that we saw, that we believe in. Now it's up to you to go out there and let that spark illuminate the world. We need that in Belize. And we at Social Security are depending on you to bring that light to you.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese, exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
What does live and let live mean to you?
Live and let live means everyone having the freedom to be themselves.
Live and let live means that I can be a mother and have a career.
It means treating people the way you would want to be treated.
And making sure your business is accessible for all Belizeans.
It means that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
It means to love your children no matter what.
It means to support people who face discrimination.
It means that men and women should be treated equally at work.
It means that everyone is able to contribute to building Belize.
It means saying no to all forms of discrimination.
It means love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
And I got vaccinated to protect myself, my family, my patients, and my community.
Good morning,
Nurse Indigenous here. I got my vaccine because I want to protect my family, especially my patients, and everybody around me. Everybody I come in contact with.
Mi nombre es Miss Chinchilla. Me vacuné porque quiero proteger mis familias y mis pacientes.
I'm Dr. Nunes, internist at Stevedore Hospital, and I got vaccinated to protect myself, my staff, and my patients.
Soy el doctor Eduardo García. He trabajado 22 años en Belice y yo me puse la vacuna del COVID por la sencilla razón de protegerme a mí mismo, proteger a mi familia y proteger al país de Belice, porque es importante pensar en Belice.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank. Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, August 11th. I am Sabrina Daly. Since reopening in July, cruise tourism has been off to a slow start, with only one ship docking per week in the Belize City Harbor. Today, however, the Belize Tourism Board responded to reports that the Carnival Vista, which arrived this morning with almost 3,000 guests, had 26 crew members and 1 passenger infected with COVID. The BTB says Minister of Tourism Anthony Mahler and his team met virtually with officials from the Carnival Vista on Tuesday. They were told strict protocols were put in place on the ship to contain the spread and infected people isolated. The BTB determined these persons did not pose a threat to guests, crews, or frontline workers in Belize, and reported that 99% of the ship's crew have been vaccinated. While 96% of its passengers had received at least the first jab, BTB says that added protocols were put in place for today's tours involving passengers from that ship. After consultation with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, all passengers that had a negative COVID-19 test were asked to provide proof of their negative status. And for those that did not have such proof, they were subject to random testing. The ministry also carried out an inspection of the protocols on board the Carnival Vista and were satisfied. BTB says passengers will not be allowed to disembark if the total number of positive cases exceeds 2% of the ship's passengers. Last week, craftspeople and other vendors at Alton Ha archaeological site were told they would have to show proof of vaccination or have their stalls closed down for this week's bubble tour of cruise ship visitors. Marian Ali was at the site this morning to see what happened and if people complied.
The showdown that some vendors who have gift shops at the Alton Ha archaeological site anticipated did not happen today. The policeman assigned to that location did not shut down operations for vendors who are unvaccinated. Instead, he stopped at each booth and simply informed them that next Wednesday, when the cruise tours arrive, they will need to either show their vaccination card or a negative COVID PCR test result.
Last week they talked about all who don't get vaccine at least swab can open up shop. But then I got the tourists there when I get vaccine, they pass through, then go use the restroom.
But this is the issue that people like Sidney Prince have a problem with. He is unvaccinated and feels that statutory instrument 74 is just too overbearing.
Last week they talked about all who don't get vaccine at least swab can open up shop. But then I got the tourists there when I get vaccine, they pass through, then go use the restroom.
It is a sentiment that President of the Alton Ha Exclusive Art Association, Andrea Mendes, agrees with.
It is a concern. Why bring them in if they're not vaccinated and you're telling us that we should get vaccinated? I vaccinate not because of anybody. I vaccinate because I want to keep myself, my friends, and my family safe. I'm not against the vaccine.
Prince feels that there ought to be fewer mandatory requirements and more infrastructural options put in place to keep the vaccinated and the unvaccinated separated from the start of the tours to the finish. He thinks that if this were in place, business would be better for everyone.
I believe everybody have their own choice. Who want to get vaccine, who don't want to get vaccine, that should be for their thing. So at least build at least a separate bathroom for the ones who want to get vaccine. I mean, just for the safety of the people there who get vaccine. So they just go in on the site, visit the site, and then they go around the bathroom and they bypass all the gift shop. Go to the bathroom, use the bathroom, jump back here on the bus and go.
Interestingly, both Prince and Mendes agree that the authorities need to intensify the vaccination campaign.
Certain things I know, they have certain side effects, yes, but I don't, like I said, I don't know everything. As soon as I can find out everything I need to know, and if it makes sense to me, then yes, I'll get vaccine.
While the other vendors at the site did not want to talk on camera, a couple informed us that they took the vaccine because they felt they had no other option. Paying for PCR tests every 2 weeks when business is slow is not a viable exercise for them. We did note that several of the booths were closed for business today, but it was not clear if that was because their proprietors were still unvaccinated or because they were engaged in other business. Reporting for News 5, Marian Ali.
On Tuesday, attorney for the Belize Police Association, Dickie Bradley, told News 5 that, considering that a significant portion of the department's members have not gotten vaccinated, threats to send them home would mean several hundred would not be on the job in accordance with Statutory Instrument 74. For that to happen at a time when crimes is high, Bradley said, would be an imprudent decision. Well, this morning, rather than be sent home for not having their vaccine or test results, Belize City officers were allowed to stay on the job, but they were given letters signed by their superior. These warned that anyone who failed to produce a vaccination card or proof of a negative COVID-19 test will be deemed absent from work and subject to disciplinary action. The letters reminded that the officers needed to have received at least 1 dose of the vaccine by August 1st, or to be prepared to provide a negative test result thereafter. The letter then chides the unvaccinated officers, stating, quote, endangering our families and loved ones should never be the case, for we have sworn to serve and to protect, unquote. News 5 has also obtained a copy of a letter served upon an officer attached to a community in the Belize district earlier this week. It similarly reminded the officer of the regulations and outlined that they reported for duty without the vaccine card or the negative PCR test result. In that case, the officer was sent home and has been marked as absent. On Tuesday, word spread that someone in the Prime Minister's office had tested positive for COVID-19. News 5 confirmed that everyone has been tested, and that was the only positive case. Someone who was out of the country for the past 2 weeks and thereafter did not interact with other staff. The Prime Minister, who did have contact with the infected person, has tested negative. But in line with COVID-19 precautions, the Prime Minister is now in isolation. But he continues to conduct the nation's business remotely. And today, the government press office issued a video statement. In it, he addressed the need for all Belizeans to get vaccinated.
Vaccination is our civic duty to each other. Getting vaccinated means getting back to school, getting our economy on track, and most importantly, saving lives. Of course, we also have to keep wearing our face masks, washing our hands regularly, and watching our distance. Because we are Belize at 40, and with hopeful hearts and steady hands, together we will rise. Thanks, God bless, and have a safe week.
Viewers can find Prime Minister Briceño's full statement on Channel 5's Facebook page. Coming up, are you confused about the different COVID variants? Stay tuned to hear from 2 doctors about which one they believe is the biggest threat to your health.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
Imagine going through your entire day without the burden and risk of carrying cash on you. Belize's shift to digital wallets has begun with eCash. We can now skip the cash when collecting money or paying for our essentials, all while using a fast, easy, and secure platform. Simply add funds to your wallet via bank transfer or at an agent, and you're good to go. You will be able to make quick, easy payments simply by scanning QR codes. And best of all, it all happens just like that. Payments are as easy as clicking a link online or scanning a QR code. Download the eCash app from the Google Play and Apple App Store today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. The future is here with eCash. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257 to find out more.
There was an execution-style murder in Corozal town this morning when a 30-year-old resident of Chanchen village was gunned down while purchasing food on South Street. Eder Hall was placing an order at the deli when an unknown man appeared on the scene and stood beside him. That individual, it is reported, then produced a firearm from the waist of his pants. Hall attempted to flee from the gunman by running down the street, but he was pursued by his attacker, who fired multiple shots in his direction. During the spray of bullets, Hall was mortally wounded. He was transported to the Corozal Community Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. A search of News 5's archives indicates that in May 2017, Eder Hall, his brother Eliezer, and his employee, identified as Emer Rosado, escaped a kidnapping attempt when they visited Ranchito village to purchase a vehicle. The trio arrived at an arranged location only to be met by 3 armed men who robbed Hall of $15,000, as well as other personal effects belonging to his sibling and workman. They were then tied up and transported to Libertad village, where the purported intention of their abductors was to toss them into the New River. Jasmine Harton appeared in San Pedro Magistrates Court, but not for her manslaughter by negligence charge in connection with the death of Police Superintendent Henry Jamat, but for common assault on an employee of a resort in San Pedro and a drug possession charge. However, her attorney Dickie Bradley asked the magistrates Cristina Pereira to consider the fact that Harton no longer lives in San Pedro, but resides in San Ignacio, where under condition of her bail, she must report to a police station every day. He was able to get the case adjourned until October 5th.
She actually is under the orders of the court to come today, tomorrow, and Friday. I have asked, and the magistrate was considerate enough. But it is unfair. She doesn't live in San Pedro, you know, this is really rough for her. So the magistrate would not have known those simple facts. So we made an application and asked if for tomorrow, if she could be please informed from today when is the adjourned date for that matter. The magistrate was kind enough to allow her to be instructed today that in relation to the other matter, she need not come back today, but she can come back on another day.
Harton is still scheduled to appear in family court in Belize City on Friday for a child custody hearing. As we told you last night, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, with assistance from Baylor College of Medicine, detected 4 variants of COVID-19 in Belize. 81 COVID-19 positive samples were processed. From that number, 3 resulted positive for the Epsilon variant, 5 resulted positive for the Alpha V1 variant, 9 resulted positive for the Delta variant, and 3 resulted positive for the Gamma variant. Of all 4 variants, the Delta variant is of greatest concern for local health authorities. Doctors Mark Musa and Jorge Hidalgo were guests on Channel 5's Open Your Eyes this morning. They explained why this variant is so concerning.
Positive for Delta. Yeah. But as doctors, we have been seeing a change in how the virus has been behaving for the last 2 to 3 months, since maybe the beginning of June. Mm-hmm. And we have noticed that it is far more infectious and easier to spread. And for every positive case that has been identified, you find that on contact tracing, more people have been infected. So it's felt that the Delta variant is at least 2 times more infectious or transmissible than the original variant. Mm-hmm. So that's the main concern, that it is so easy to spread. Mm-hmm. That makes it very important that we continue our preventative measures, our wearing of our masks, following physical distancing, avoiding overcrowding, and then to get the protection of the vaccine. We have the opportunity with the vaccine to add additional protection against severe disease, hospitalization, and death. Mm-hmm. So we cannot be putting pressure on the vaccine so early because we still have such a vulnerable population. I think only 33% of persons have had at least one dose, and I think 13.5% are fully vaccinated.
With the Delta one, then we see the trend more constantly. We see more people in the 20s, 30s, and 40s being admitted in the hospital. Also, it's very difficult to see someone basically young in a young age, very ill in ICU, and of course it's more difficult to see how they die.
And while the Delta variant is more transmissible than the other variants, there is also a concern that if it spreads, goes unmitigated, the protection that the vaccine offers can become less effective. As Dr. Musa explains it, this will be a result of a newer mutation spreading in the unvaccinated population.
If you notice, all of these variants have started in large populations, highly dense cities, in largely unvaccinated people at the time. So the surges have been astronomical in terms of its ease of transmissibility, in that it is naive to everybody who has never faced this virus before, and so it has, and the quicker the virus spreads, it has more chance to mutate, its genes to mutate, and then, so the initial concerns with the Delta is it's more transmissible. There will come a time when, if we allow the spread to go unmitigated, that there's a concern whether the vaccines might not offer the protection, and that the virus causes mutations that make the vaccines less effective.
Dr. Musa says it may soon be time for measures to be put in place that are specific to Belize City, considering the increasing daily numbers of positive cases coming out of these densely populated communities. He also cautioned young people in particular to take COVID-19 seriously.
If we are seeing concerning numbers, hospitalizations going up, we have to encourage persons to bring down the transmission by following the guidance. We need targeted measures by the government. If we see Belize City over the last 4 weeks, every day getting 30 positive cases, then there has to be measures for Belize City. People have to start taking personal responsibility. And I think if you are a young person, you have to view yourself. You might say, and although the evidence is showing that, you might say, well, my risk with this virus is minimal. That's not showing in what's happening in the unvaccinated young people in the States and in other places, that the vaccine offers so much more protection at saving your life. So you have to then look at it that the vaccine is additional. You might say, well, I am a fit person, I take care of myself, that's good. But you also have to realize that you can be a transmitter of the virus to your household, to your vulnerable parents or grandparents or wife or whoever. So you have to then look at yourself as a spreader as well. And so your decision also has to involve whether the vaccination cannot be a selfish decision. It's not just about you. This isn't an individual disease. This is being spread by human to human contact.
After the break, the Christian Workers Union lashes out at the Labor Commissioner and raises concern about another agreement from 2005. We will have their allegations and the responses up next. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
This COVID update is brought to you by Belize Medical Associates. This COVID update was brought to you by Belize Medical Associates.
Digi's got the summer deals. And now's the time to join in on Digi's Back to School raffle. Win big with any of our 3 easy ways to enter. 1. Purchase any device on promotion. 2. Be a Digicel or Diginet prepaid customer with at least $10 in usage. 3. Make the switch. Join the Digi family between July 1st and 31st and you're automatically in to win. Don't miss out on your chance to win Digi's Back to School package, including a laptop, MiFi, and 3 months of free data, all valued over $2,000. Win big with Digi's Back to School raffle, cause Digi's got the summer deals. For more information, visit our website at livedigi.com or visit a Digi store near you.
Last month, my father passed away due to COVID-19. My father was not vaccinated. He was not. To be truthful, the things he would have said would be the things that we're hearing around town. But there were also some of the other things, you know, some of the other myths that really I was trying to tell him, no, Daddy, you need to get your vaccine. But I couldn't convince him in time.
I think what they're doing is a disservice to this country. In my mind, what they're doing is creating fear among people when they should be spreading a message of hope. What I hear them say has no basis, no scientific basis for the assertions they're making. And more than anything else, there's no legal basis for their assertion.
Would he have gotten that vaccine, he would still be here cracking his jokes and being his fun, crazy self, and we really miss him.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Earlier this week, the Ministry of Health and Wellness informed the United Democratic Party that it would not support a scheduled convention in Belmopan on Saturday. The planned political event was to have been held at the University of Belize Gymnasium, where former area representative John Stevedore was set to face former Mayor Khalid Belize. Both candidates are vying for the post of caretaker for that constituency. In a release issued by the UDP earlier today, the party acknowledges government's position in light of the ongoing spike in COVID-19 cases. As such, it says all major events, including large meetings, rallies, and conventions, all have been put off until the third wave of infections recede. While the UDP is prepared to assist the Briceño administration in the fight against the pandemic, Shadow Minister of Justice, Senator Darrell Bradley has issued a release in respect of the proposed mandate for COVID vaccinations. The statement, which was issued via the UDP's parliamentary caucus, says, quote, "It opposes any effort to make the taking of the vaccine mandatory. The idea of mandating any person to take a vaccine violates our most sacred constitutional norms, including respect for the inviolability of the body, protection of human dignity, freedom of choice, and protection of personal privacy," unquote. Notwithstanding the constitutional challenge, there are real concerns regarding the long-term effects of the COVID-19 vaccine. The Christian Workers Union is accusing the Labor Department of breaking a commitment to continue mediation with the Port of Belize Limited. Today, during a press conference at union headquarters in Belize City, the union stated that after the CWU submitted its notice of intended strike action against PBL in mid-July, the Labor Department had committed to mediating negotiations between both parties. An essential services tribunal was then established to rule on matters directly impacting the stevedores, namely the requested sugar redundancy package and the enlisting of new stevedores. Now, according to the president of the union, Mose Hyde, the Labor Department is saying that they will not engage in negotiations on the two matters unless the union rescinds its position on the 20 days notice. President Hyde is calling on the department to show the union where this is outlined in the laws of Belize as a requirement.
We have had multiple scenarios prior to this one where even though we had the 21-day notice in effect, we were still engaged under the Ministry of Labor and we negotiated. So we were told that the Essential Service Tribunal has been chosen, has been put together, and the Ministry of Labor has indicated that by law they are not able to participate again in that negotiation. And so we are to put forward a submission to the Essential Service Tribunal, a binding tribunal where a panel of 5 people will then look at our submission and PBL submission, and then they will have their ruling. Now, we had committed to our members, and a commitment was given publicly that there would be a negotiation as it relates to sugar redundancy. So we feel that to be told that we cannot facilitate because the Essential Service Tribunal has been put in place, at the very least we deserve to know which part of the law dictates that. We have asked, we have yet to receive.
We reached out to Labor Commissioner Anne-Marie Thompson, who told us that we can expect a press release after she reveals the details of the union's concerns. The Christian Workers Union has also pulled out an agreement signed between the Government of Belize and the Port of Belize Limited back in 2005. CWU alleges the agreement has been kept under wraps and that members had to do some serious investigation work to unearth it. The agreement, signed 1 year before the 2006 MOU between GOB and the Big Creek Port, Toledo Enterprises, restricts the Big Creek Port to the exportation of bananas and importation to banana industry-related material. The 2005 agreement further states that GOB will pay damages to the Port of Belize in the event that general cargo is received at Big Creek. CWU says it is bringing the agreement to light to show that the restrictions placed on the Big Creek Port are backed up by not only 2006 MOU, but also this 2005 document.
All the while, we have been here begging to find out what grounds we stand upon, what position we have. All the while, we are under this understanding that nobody knows anything about the agreement. All the while. And they have all been in on this knowledge. It's insulting that you can look at us and know what's at stake for those members you see out there on Dean Street. And it is the workers who have to be digging up, running down. Trust me, there is a lot of running down going on here to even get the MOU much less to get this privatization cooperation agreement. And our position right now is, why is nobody else fighting? Why is it that only stevedores are fighting this? Why? If there is no agreement, if these are rendered null and void, the implications go further than sugar. Because what happens when you decide, and it seems as if though that is what is going down, that PBL will have a cruise terminal, and they start to do work on their cruise terminal, or they decide that, guess what, we got to fix our pier, we'll shut down operations. What happens to our members? What happens to our members if the people who do shipping decide, guess what, we prefer the fact that Big Creek does not have unionized workers? What happens to our members then? And what is the value of all the agreements that we enter into if it is, there is nothing in place to ensure that there is any contractual obligations for Port of Belize Limited?
When asked for a comment, CEO at the Port of Belize, Andy Lane, told News 5 via text, quote, "Under the rules of the tribunal, PBL and myself are not permitted to discuss or disclose anything related to this case outside of the tribunal. I have to respect that requirement fully," unquote. According to CWU President Hyde, Stevedores lost about $186,000 in income since BSI's move to Big Creek Port. Hyde took a jab at the sugar company, saying they should share their environmental clearance documentation for their Big Creek Port development.
What I'm interested to know, since we're on the matter of sugar and those issues, if somebody could explain to me where it is the environmental clearances for the ASR development in Big Creek Port. Have you all seen it? All projects of that size have to get an environmental clearance. Please ask ASR to show you it.
After the press conference, News 5 reached out to BSI ASR, which informed us they do not need an EIA because they are building on already established port grounds. Also at the press conference today were statements by stevedores themselves as the ones on the ground absorbing the financial blow of BSI's move to Big Creek Port. They described their decision to engage in a go-slow on the sugar barge as a sacrifice. And while it resulted in financial losses, they say the action was the only way for them to get the attention they sought.
Now, the reason why we got in tech industrial action is because we try to engage with them people to make we sit down and attack, but nobody not contact. We make him come to already with our press conference, right? We got to the minister, ASR, port, and nobody, they disrespect the union and the members, nobody come. So we know we are losing, you know. So we may have to take industrial action for them, bring their attention to us. And that's what we did.
Stevedores do what they do best in order to get result, but when we do, we upset people in hierarchy that make those decisions, that think that they can cramp us. We sacrifice ourselves when we made that decision to go slow. We live with that sacrifice. We live with our decision. But I wonder how they sleep at night knowing they made a decision to take millions of dollars out of poor people, out of black men. I hate to use that term, black men. But how do they feel at night? How do they look at this when they sit down and look at this press conference and say, well, you know, these brothers are speaking for their rights.
Just ahead, calling all artists and creative workers, a small grant program may have some funding help for you. Stay with us.
Nestle. Start healthy, stay healthy.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
The TV you love is always with you, from live TV, sports, and on-demand titles. Choose your plan today. Plans start as low as $15 per month. My TV. Entertainment anytime, anywhere.
I visited the land of Serbia, a great many miles away. I ascended the Mount Everest few people have conquered. I roared on the snow-covered Antarctic and Arctic. I rolled swiftly across the vast, untamed desert. Ling Long Tire conquers every corner of the world.
Distributed by Enrique Martinez and Sons Limited. 2 miles Philip Golston Highway, Belize City.
The National September Celebrations calendar of events this year includes a new grant program for 40 artists and creative workers, in line with the celebration of Belize's 40th anniversary of independence. This morning, the National Institute of Culture and History introduced the initiative, which provides $1,000 to individuals who successfully present a unique idea or project that celebrates the jewel during the month of September.
This is 40 grants that would be given out. Is this the first call? Is it going to be rotated? Is it 40 grants at the start? It all depends on the applications we receive. If we receive a lot of applications and we're able to find the 40 applicants, successful ones, then we would be giving out the 40 grants. If not, then there may be another call. How do you go about with it? You can get the application form from our website, from our Facebook page, contact the niche offices, or email nationalcelebrations@nichebelize.org and you can get a copy. The application form is about 11 questions long. It is quite straightforward. The start is just your bio information, and section 2 is more the questions that are being asked. Who is eligible for it? Anyone who has any innovative or creative idea. It's any idea, any product, any project, any business idea, whatever you want, whatever you have in mind. The Plan Belize speaks about an art fund. This is not necessarily only to the art fund, but this could be the jumpstart to keeping that in mind. The funds have been received from the government of Belize and the government of Taiwan. They are major supporters. This is a National Celebrations Commission initiative. So the funds are gotten from those both entities for now. Whether we'll have more individuals, more entities joining us, time will tell with our projects that we have. For this one, it's mainly the government of Belize and the government of Taiwan. When should these applications be submitted by? The deadline for these applications is August 31st. That is the deadline for these applications.
According to Budrani, any Belizean or Belizean-owned entity is eligible to participate in the grant program, as there are no restrictions on age, gender, ethnicity, or any other background.
Is there any restrictions? Really and truly, there is no restriction on age, gender, anything. It's mainly a creative and innovative idea. We all know how COVID-19 has affected us economically, socially. So this is more upliftment. trying to help those who have an innovative idea. If we look around for grants, if we've seen what the government has done, we've done items for pantry, for businesses, for agriculture, but seldom anything has been done for creators and the innovators. So this is one of them. It's $1,000, 40 persons, celebrating Belize at 40. This is the first of its kind from the National Celebrations Commission. And we're aiming for 40. The deadline is not September, the deadline is not August. It all depends in August 31st how many applications we receive. If we don't receive all of them then it would continue on to September, to October, to November. If we receive all 40 at the first call, then all 40 would receive it.
At the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the National Institute of Culture and History took a severe financial hit when tourism came to a screeching halt. As a statutory body, NICH is partly funded by government. It is also funded in large from revenue collected from the many archaeological sites it manages across the country. With the resumption of overnight and cruise tourism, is the organization generating much-needed funds now that the tourism industry has jump-started?
I think we need to be a bit realistic of what's happening in our country. It's not necessarily only tourism. Economically, the government has a huge task in trying to see how to bring us back. And we as a statutory body are partners with the government. So we'll do everything that's possible to bring us back into the good standing. We have not increased our liabilities. We are in good standing with all of our financial institutions. Where we are today as NICH is we're hopeful that things would get better. And we're hopeful that tourism could increase and we have more visitation at our sites. At the same time, we're looking at creative ideas and innovative ideas of finding other means of income. It's not necessarily only with the sites that we're looking at, but other areas. The board of directors are very active and they would be providing some new ideas and hopefully we're back on track.
The commemoration of Inter-American Week for Indigenous peoples continues through Friday. In Belize, the Garifuna and Maya communities are being celebrated for their contributions and achievements, as well as their diversities in culture, language, food, music, and traditional knowledge. Dolores Balderramos Garcia, Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, issued a statement today encouraging every Indigenous brother and sister to stand firm and take great pride in their identity. The release goes on to say, quote, "It is a time also to raise awareness to protect the social, economic, and political rights of Indigenous communities," unquote. The National Garifuna Council also issued a release calling on the government of Belize to make a concerted effort to minimize the marginalization of the Indigenous population and honor the international conventions and treaties that directly relate to Indigenous persons. Just ahead, there is more on Paul Lopez's report on the killing of 3 Belizean teenagers when we come back. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800 A Way Out or our cell phone number 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
In Tuesday's newscast, we brought you part one of a story on the murders of 3 teenage boys within the last 3 weeks. The stories of their lives and circumstances of their deaths may differ, but these incidents have Belizeans asking themselves what we can do to prevent the loss of other young lives. Tonight, Paul Lopez brings you part 2 of his special report.
Laddie Gillett's death in particular struck a chord with both young people and the wider community. Protests were organized across the country in the wake of Laddie's death. These protests were geared specifically at reform in the police department.
The reality is a 14-year-old young man with so much potential, so much creativity and ability is no longer here with us on planet Earth. And I believe the reality of that right there should be enough for all of us as role models and society to really begin to rise up and say, there must be a change in the way we do things.
The incident did cause a police response. Just days after Laddie's death, the department announced plans to implement a child interaction policy.
There is, yes, the need for us to look at how we treat with minors generally. And I'm happy to say that soon to be released to the department is a policy on a child interaction policy that we have been working on, that we recognize that at different levels, police officers are interacting with children.
The nation's response to the death of 16-year-old Shamar Nicholas and 14-year-old Kwame Williams was different. Some might even say indifferent. There were no mass protests or widespread calls for reform.
I believe one of the problems is that as a society we are very reactive. We react to a lot of things. We are not as proactive as we ought to be, because we should be looking at being proactive and looking at prevention rather than cure. Because it's difficult to heal a wound that is cut too deep. It will rot. And I think that is basically where we are when we now look at how very young the criminals are.
As a society, what is our responsibility? What is our right and just role in the lives of these young people?
Yeah, I mean, the call has to come to all of us. We all have a responsibility. It's unfortunate that we have moved away from what used to be a community and a village raising children, because now we have to be careful how we speak to people's children, you know, because that has changed. But notwithstanding that, we all have that responsibility, and because these children are my children, your children, everybody's children, and these days we're seeing that it is coming to our doors.
Our discussion with the director of NCFC revealed that the issue of child protection is a complex one, requiring a multifaceted approach from all sectors of society. And the Minister of Youth, Kevin Bernard, agrees that there is a need for greater avenues of support to children.
I offer my condolences to all these families who have lost their young children, whether to gun violence, whether because they have gone out there and did something wrong. And then in the case of Laddie, who died on the hands of the police because of another issue. We're a young nation, and we should be able to look at opportunities for young people. There should be avenues where these young people should come and get support.
As a commission, I mean, we are charged, our mandate is to adhere to compliance on the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And if we are to comply, then it means that children should be afforded all the rights that they so rightfully deserve. And we should be able to get all our partners and duty bearers and everyone to be in compliance. And that is not an easy thing to do.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.